Hello students, welcome to new video. In previous class we have studied string concatenation replication, where we are concatenating two strings and using this star operator to get the string 5 times or whatever the value that you have given that times. Okay, the string into string is not possible and string into integer is not possible, it will throw you a error, right? Then we have seen integer, floating points and string data types, integer, floating points and string data types, and what are the valid values for these data types. Then we have seen how to enter expression into a interactive shell and what are the precedence of different operators, right? Now in today's class we are going to study storing values in variables. It is very easy topic. See, a variable is like a box in a computer memory where you can store a single value. Okay, here in Python, how to assign a value to a variable? It's very easy. You just need a variable name and a equal sign and a value to be stored. So according to second point here, an assignment statement consists of variable name, an equal sign called the assignment operator. Here in this situation, the equal sign will be called as assignment operator and the value to be stored. And remember that in Python you just take a variable name, assignment operator, and the value need to be stored. Okay, so you need not to have any data type here, int, spam, or character spam or string spam, whatever it is. The data type should not be mentioned before this variable name. So if you are just using spam is equal to 42, means you are storing 42 into a spam. Okay, so it is like a box. Okay, it's like a box. Okay, let me show you here. We have an interactive shell here. So if I take spam is equal to 42. So the spam value now, the value of a spam is now 42. Okay, see, this is not possible. Int spam is equal to 42. Okay, see, invalid syntax. Here data type you should not mention. Okay, based on the value you are storing, that variable becomes of that type of data. See, type of this spam is that I have already shown you in the previous video. See, int, right? See, now if you change spam's value is equal to hello. Okay, now the spam value becomes a string. See, what is the value of spam now? Hello, and the type of this spam will be string. Okay, see, type of spam will be string. See, string. Okay, so Python decides according to your value that you are storing. Okay, so here before we had assigned 40 to spam, then suddenly we have assigned hello to this spam. What happens is overwriting will happen. So means in the box the previous value you are removing and you are inserting new values. Okay, like this. See, you are removing the previous value here and you are inserting the new value. Okay, when a variable is assigned to a new value, the old value is forgotten. This is called overwriting the variable. Okay, so now we'll see what are the rules to define a valid variable. So now variable names, you can name a variable anything as long as it obeys the following 3 rules. There are 3 rules. First one, it can be only one word. Okay, it should not have 2, 3, 4 words. If it is there, it should be separated by underscore, not the spaces. It can use only letters, numbers, underscore. See, letters, alphabet, numbers or underscore. And last rule, it can begin with a number. Okay, it can begin with a number. So now these are the 2 columns here, valid variable names and invalid variable names. In this, balance is valid because it satisfies these 3 rules: balance, current underscore balance, spam here, underscore spam, then spam in capital, then account 4. These are valid variables. In second column you have current hyphen balance, so hyphen is not allowed, hyphen is not allowed. Then current balance, spaces are not allowed. Okay, here space you have, spaces are not allowed. Then for account, it should not, it can begin with a number. Then 42 can begin with a number again. Then total underscore symbol, here we are having a special symbol, that is dollar symbol. Okay, total underscore sum, this is not allowed. Then hello, special characters like quotes are not allowed. Here you cannot see, it looks like a string. When you are assigning this as a value, it will take, but this as a variable, it will not. See, the difference was, see here you can have like a is equal to hello, like this you can have. Okay, but you cannot have hello is equal to something. Okay, so this can't be a variable name because it has a special character. Those are quotes. Okay, now those are quotes. Now variable names are case sensitive. See, it's like Java, it's only, see, it is case sensitive. Case sensitive. See, spam is equal to 15. Okay, so now spam value is 15. If you just call spam with a capital S, so it will show you error, spam is not defined. See, here only the difference is here small s and here capital S. So Python is case sensitive. Okay, now moving on to next slide. See, your first program. Now, while the interactive shell is good for running Python instructions one at a time, to write entire Python programs, you will type the instruction into the file editor. See, till now I have shown you all the instructions in Python shell itself. Okay, now how to create a new file, you need to learn that. See, no need not to install any IDEs and all. IDEs are available if you want IDEs. So the many packages are already installed in that IDEs, like you have used in previous semester NetBeans IDE, right? So you can use PyCharm for it, or you can use Spider for it. Okay, so here we are using nothing, no IDE, we are just using a normal file. So how to create a new file? See, go to file, new file. In this you just created a new file. Okay, then start writing your program, blah blah, whatever the program you are writing. Then you need to save. How to save? See, file, save. Okay, save. So I am saving on desktop. So desktop. So file name I will take as practice2, because I have already practice here, right? So I will take prac2. Okay, .py, it is Python extension, right? So save. The file will be saved. Now whatever the program you want to write, you write. So I will write a simple instruction here, print hello world. Hello world. See, this is the instruction. Now let me execute this. How to execute? First save it, then execute run module. Okay, so it will show you the output in the shell. See, hello world. Okay, so here the first program, the file editor lets you type in many instructions, save the file and run the program. So this is your program. Let me copy first this program, then I will explain the program for you. See, so this is the program that you are having here. Okay, this is the program that you are having here. Here first line is a comment line. If you want to write a comment in Python, what you need to use is, you just use a hash line, hash here, then the sentence that you want to write. Sir, what if I want a multiple lines? Then at that time, see, again another hash you need to use, then whatever you want to write you can write. Okay, and another technique is there to write a multi-line comment that I am not going to discuss here today. So let us continue with the program. So here print hello world. First it will show you the output hello world, then it will ask for you what is your name. So again the command line asks for you, then you need to enter your name, right? So if you want to enter your name at that time, you need to use if you want to take an input from the user at that time, you need to use input method, and whatever the input that user enters, it will be stored under a variable. And remember, it's very important that input will take all the inputs, user inputs, in the form of string, okay. So that's why the my name will be of the form string. So when it takes an input from you, it will store into a variable. Then what you are doing is, it is good to meet you, whatever your name is, that name you are concatenating here, okay, using a concatenation operator, okay. Then it is asking you for the length of your, so it is displaying you the length of your name is, whatever the length of your name is, that will be displayed here. But here, len of my name, here my name, your name's length you are displaying. After displaying, it asks you what is your age, again command line. Then you need to enter your age into your on one variable called my age. Now what the age will be in integer, right? What is your age? You will write 22 or you will write 21, right? So here my age value will be 21, that you have entered in the form of string, not in the form of integer. So when you are displaying it, you will be see this many age, this you will be this much old in a year, okay. After 1 year, suppose you have entered 21, so you will be 22 years old in a year, okay, or you will be 22 in a year. So 21 was in a string, then you need to add 1 to it. First we need to convert our 21, which is in the form of string, into integer. Then you need to add a 1 to it. Then you need to convert again it to a string. Then you need to concatenate with this message. Then the rest of the message will be concatenated using plus operator. See, let me explain you again. You are entering your age. Age will be in the form of string, because input takes all the inputs from the user in the form of string, right? So string, for a string you cannot add 1, right? You cannot concatenate 1. For a string you need to concatenate string itself, that we have already studied in the previous video. See, here my age was in string, that's why you need to convert that age into int, okay. Then you need to add 1 to it. Then again you need to convert it into string to concatenate to your message, okay. So let me execute this program first. Run this module, save it, okay. Now hello world, what is your name? It is asking here, what is your name? My name is, suppose my name is Subramanya, okay. Then it's good to meet you, Subramanya. Then the length of your name is 10. So there are 10 characters, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, right? 10 characters. What is your age? Suppose I enter here 21. So you will be 22 in a year. Understood? So another technique was what we have done in the program. First we have converted our age into integer, then we have added the +1, then we have converted into string. So understood? See, you cannot add 1 to a string, right? That's why you need to convert into int. And remember that, always remember, user input is in the form of string, okay. So it was very easy program, no indentation and all. So here no blocks, no for loops, no condition statements and all, okay. It was a very easy program. So we'll go to next slide. So this is the end of your chapter 1, okay, end of your chapter 1. So let's begin with a new chapter, that is flow control. In this we are going to study boolean values to some importing modules and system.exit functions, okay. So flow control means actually your program will see the program that you have seen in the previous slide. This program that you have seen already, it is what line by line execution. First it will execute, first it will process this, but it will not be displayed on the screen. Then it will be processing this. There will be some in your program, there will be some kind of branching, right? If you have a if statement, suppose if you have a if statement over here, if that condition satisfied, it will go into the block of code, right? Otherwise it will go go out of that block and execute the next lines, right? Or suppose if you have a for loop here, so that body is going to execute again and again and again and again, then come out of that loop and execute the rest of the code, right? So this we have not seen till now, so these things we will see in flow control. Okay, then different types of condition statements, flow control statements, and then how to import modules. Okay, then how to use system.exit function. Okay, let's begin with boolean values. So in Python there are only two boolean values, that is true and false. Okay, true and false. If you want to assign any variable a true value or a false value, suppose in the shell if I am writing a is equal to capital T true, see, no need to mention this true under string, like under quotes, okay, like this. Not need to mention like this. If you are mentioning like this, this becomes true, this becomes string actually. Okay, this true becomes a string, not a boolean value. See, if I just write like this, what is the type of a, what is the type of a, we will query. Type of a is string. Okay, if you write like this, a is equal to capital T R U E, okay, it becomes boolean and it belongs to a class called bool. Okay, see here, type bool, not bool. What is the type of a? Okay, see, type of a is bool. Okay, so what I have told you, if you are writing with a code it becomes a string. Okay, without a code it becomes a boolean, and here the T should be capital, and the same thing with false too. See, F should be capital. Okay, so type of this B will be bool. Okay, so there are two values. Okay, boolean data types have two values, true and false. When typed as a Python code, the boolean values true and false lack the quotes that I have already told you. You place around the strings, and they always start with a capital T or capital F. Okay, with the rest of the word in the lowercase. Rest of the word will be in the lowercase. See, only T will be capital, rest of the word will be in lowercase. Okay, boolean values are used in expressions and can be stored in variables. See, boolean values are stored in expression, can be stored in, say, are used in expression and can be stored in variables. So see here, I have stored a boolean values into a variable, can be used in expression. Okay, can be used in expression. So here see, you have AND operator, so I am using true and true. Let me check, it give you true, right? See, true and true is true. So if you are writing true and false, what will be the result? False. Okay, it can be used in expression. Okay, so here when typed as a Python code, then if you don't use the proper case or you try to use true false for variable names, Python will give you a error message. See, if you don't, see, if you are just saying a is equal to just true like this, it will show you a error because T is not capital. And another thing, if you try to use boolean values as variables, true is equal to something, hello world, hello world, see, again it will show you an error, can't assign to a keyword, can't assign to a keyword because true is a keyword, so you cannot assign a value to a keyword. Okay, so now let us, next is comparison operators. So in the comparison, what is a comparison operator? Comparison operators compare two values and evaluate down to a single value, boolean value, true or false. So here 6 comparator operators: equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to. Okay, so these are very easy. So let me show you. Equal to, 2 equal to 2, true, it will return true. 2 is not equal to 2, see, false, because 2 is equal to 2, that's why. Okay, if 2 is not equal to 3, true, right? So 2 is less than 3, false. False or true? True, right? Then 2 is greater than 3, false, right? So 2 is less than equal to 3, true. So if I write 3 is less than equal to 3, what will happen? True. Okay, if I write 4 is less than equal to 3, false. Okay, then if you need to check greater than or equal to, see, 4 is greater than equal to 3, true. Okay, 3 is greater than equal to 4, false. Okay, these are very simple. So the entire expression will be evaluated down to some value, and these values will be always boolean, true or false. Okay, let us see some examples here. Hello is equal to hello, it will return true. Hello equal to hello, it will return false, because Python is case sensitive. Here h is small and here h is capital. Okay, here dog is not equal to cat, true. Logically also it is true, right? Logically also it is true. Now true is equal to true. See, you can compare two boolean values also. See here, true is a boolean value, is equal to again you are comparing with boolean value. Okay, true is equal to true, it will return true. You can compare two boolean values also. So here 42 is equal to 42.0, yes, because in Python the 42.0 will be round off to integer value. Okay, here 42 is equal to, see, 42 is equal to string 42, it will return false. See here, you have an integer value is equal to 42. See, this is integer and this is integer and this is string. So if you write just, it will give you false. Obviously it will give you false. Now less than and greater than, the less than and greater than works properly with integer and floating point number. See, 42 is less than 100, true. 42 is greater than 100, false. 42 is less than 42, false. Egg count is equal to 42. If you have stored the integer value into variable, then that variable also you can compare. Okay, that variable also you can compare. See, egg count is, see, egg count is less than equal to 42. Yes, it is equal to 42. That's why it will give you true. Okay, so my age is equal to 29. My age is greater than 10, equal to 10. Yes, it is greater than equal to 10. That's why it is returning false. Okay, so in next slide we are going to study here boolean operators. See, again boolean operators that we have already seen here, boolean values and comparison operators. Here boolean operators, there are two boolean operators. One is and, or, and another one that operates, that is a negation actually, is called not operator. Okay, so here the and or operators, all of you know that and operator will be true if both are true, and or operator, if one of the value is true, then it becomes true. Okay, so either of the two value is true, then it becomes true. Okay, not, it is just a negation of whatever the boolean value that you have. Okay, so now, so here how many boolean operators? Actually 3 here, and, or, and not, and, or, and not, so are used to compare boolean values. Okay, now in next slide we are going to see mixing boolean and comparison operators. So boolean operators are and, or, not, right? So comparison operators already you have seen. Here 4 is less than 5, true, and 5 is less than 6, true and true is, result will be true. Okay, and here again true, and here it is false, so it will return true and false will be false. So 1 equal to true, false. 2 equal to 2, true. So false or true becomes true, right? The message is, the computer will evaluate the left expression first and then it will evaluate the right expression. So here it will evaluate the 4 less than 5 first, it becomes true, and then 5 less than 6, it becomes true. True and true is true. Okay, here another tip or note that I want to give you, here it will evaluate from left to right, left to right. Okay, when it is evaluating left expression, if it becomes false, rest of the expressions it is not going to evaluate, because if once it is becomes false, the remaining logic if you have remaining this one, what and operators, it will not evaluate, because the false, once it is false, the rest entire and expression will be false, right? So here, see, let me show you one example here. If I have x is equal to 6, x is equal to 6 and y is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. So if I have the comparison operator like x is greater than 2, yes, right, then I am having and x divides y. Okay, here x divides y. If the division is, this division is less than 5. Okay, so here first it needs to evaluate 6 greater than 2. Yes, it becomes true, right? It becomes true. 6 is greater than 2, true. Then it will suddenly go to this, and here you are dividing 6 with 0. So this means that it has evaluated it to true, and it goes to next expression, and it will throw you an exception that divide by 0 error. See, it will throw you divide by 0 error. Now instead of x is greater than 2, if you have made this statement as false, this expression as false, so this will not be evaluated, right? See, what is the proof, sir? See, if this becomes false, rest of the expression will not be evaluated, means this error will not be thrown. So see, x is less than 2, x is less than 6 is less than 2, it becomes false, right? Then and the rest of the expression will be same. See, divide by y if it is less than 5. Okay, see, it will becomes false. See, this is false, that's why entire expression it will evaluate to false. This is called short circuiting. This is called short circuiting. So if I write the expression like this, where this becomes true, so next expression will be evaluated. While we are evaluating this expression, you are getting divide by 0 error, because y is 0. And the proof that to my statement that when it is evaluating from left to right, if the first statement is false, the entire and expressions will not be, rest of the expressions will not be evaluated. See, if this is false, x is less than 2, 6 is less than 2, it becomes false. So rest of the is not evaluated. That's why this error is not thrown here. It becomes just directly false. Okay. So I will stop here. In next class, we are going to study further topics up to the okay, further topics. Thanks for watching.